Hello student, namaste. How are you all? Good. I am also fine. Today we will be talking about an English lesson of grade 9, unit 16, games and sports. Are you all ready? Very good. So get ready with your textbook, exercise book and pen. Today we talk about grammatical lessons and some writings issues. Let us go talking about grammatical lesson and writing. Here we go. Read the text below and find the tag questions. Notice what punctuations are used to add the tag. Have you heard about question tag? Good. So what is question tag? It is a short form of question. Dear student, you are asked to identify the tag questions from the given paragraph. Are you all ready? Good. Here we go. This is the paragraph. Mira is sitting alone and enjoying her surroundings. She looks around and speaks to herself. Birds are free, aren't they? Although humans are the best creation of God, they can't fly in the sky, can they? Birds play an important role in the ecosystem, don't they? Humans have polluted the environment, haven't they? We must keep our environment clean, mustn't we? Dear student, I believe you have underlined the form of tag questions. From this paragraph, maybe you have also come with some ideas about question tag. Birds are free, aren't they? Is the form of tag. Similarly, they can't fly in the sky, can they is the form of tag. Another one is birds play an important role in the ecosystem, don't they is another form of tag. Humans have polluted the environment, haven't they is another form of tag. And we must keep our environment clean, mustn't we? We have mustn't we is the another form of tag. So I believe you have also identified and then underlined the different forms of tag from this paragraph. Did you do this? Good. Now we have some general concept about the tag. The general concept about the tag is tag questions are used at the end of a sentence. Now let us practice some other more examples, then we will be more clear about what actually tag question is. Let us practice the question. Add correct tag questions to the following statements. We have some questions. Number A, smoking is hazardous to health. Just think, what is the form of tag? First of all, you need to identify the sentence and the verb. Either it is an auxiliary verb or a main verb. B, Preeti speaks excellent French. Please keep quiet. C, D, everybody has finished their work. E, we do not go to school on Saturdays. F, I am tired and hungry. G, let's do our homework. H, let him open the door. Now, one is done for you. Smoking is hazardous to health. So dear student, please identify where is the verb first. And if you identify the verb, the same verb you can use in the form of tag. This is one basic rule. Another basic rule is if you identify the verb, then after you need to again confirm whether the sentence is affirmative or negative. If the sentence is affirmative, tag must be negative. If a sentence is negative, tag must be affirmative. And another basic rule of tag is we never use full form of verb. We use the contracted form of a verb. For example, we cannot use is not it. What is the short form of is not it? Isn't it? This is what the correct contracted form of the tag. So in this sentence, smoking is hazardous to health, you notice that is an auxiliary verb. So when there is an auxiliary verb in the sentence, the same auxiliary verb is used in the form of tag, so that we brings is in the tag. And now smoking is hazardous to health. So this is an affirmative sentence. So what is our rule? The general rule, the general concept of tag is when the statement is affirmative, then tag must be negative, so that we made it into isn't. Now we need to be much more conscious about the use of pronouns as well. So when the sentence begins with gerund, ing form of the verb, so it takes it as a pronoun in the form of tag, so that we use isn't it. So where is the verb? Is a verb. So what is the subject? Smoking. It is in gerund form. So when a sentence that begins from gerund, so it is used as a pronoun in the form of tag. Clear? Good. Now let us practice answering B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and so on and so on. Are you all ready? Very good. B. Preeti speaks excellent French. Can you change this statement into the correct form of tag? Good. So we don't have an auxiliary verb in this sentence, but we have the main verb, and it is speak. So the verb is in S or ES form. That means it speaks. When the verb is in S or ES, we generally use does in the form of tag. And Preeti is a subject here. And you simply notice that the sentence itself is what? Affirmative. So our tag must be what? Negative. So now guess, what is your answer? Very good. The answer is doesn't see. So speaks, it is in B5 form of the verb. So we use does, and then the sentence itself is affirmative. So tag must be negative, so that doesn't see. Preeti refers to she. So Preeti is a noun, and then she is a pronoun. We always use pronoun in the form of tag. Clear? Good. Now C, please keep quiet. So what is the tag of this sentence? Can you guess? Good. You are right. When a sentence begins from verb, it always comes with will you in the tag. So that please keep quiet, will you. Okay? When a sentence that begins from verb, so we use will you as the tag in the sentence. D, everybody has finished their work. Can you guess what is the correct form of tag in the sentence? Yes, you are right. Haven't they? Why there is happened there, we will be talking later on also in golden rules. We do not go to school on Saturdays. What is the correct form of tag? Can you guess? Good. So, do we? In this sentence, we do not go to school on Saturdays. So, the sentence or the statement is negative. So, that we use the affirmative tag. So, that do we is the correct form of tag. I am tired and hungry. Can one of you guess the right question tag of this statement? Good. Aren't I? Why there is aren't I? When there is a verb that is an auxiliary verb, am, when it is used in the sentence in the form of affirmative, so it changes into are. Am changes into are. Okay, but when am is used in negation or in the negative statement, the same auxiliary verb am is used in the form of tag. So that if I am tired and hungry, in this sentence am is used in the affirmative statement, so am changes into are. So that aren't I? G, let's do our homework. So what is your answer? Shall we? Yes, good. When a sentence begins with late imperative, late with s, there must be shall we. Late with us, there must be will you. Late imperative and B1 imperative. B1 imperative, always will you. Late imperative, when there is late with us, will you. Late with apostrophe s, there must be shall we. Similarly, H, let him open the door. So, as I said, late with apostrophe s, shall we. Late with us or late with verb, so we use will you. Okay? So, let him open the door. What is the tag of the statement? Of course, will you is the tag of this statement. Similarly, we have some other examples as well. They would build a house. When a sentence comes with apostrophe D with a root form of the verb, there must be wouldn't they. You had better help them. Apostrophe D with better. This is a very, very confusing sentence. Apostrophe D with better, had, always had. So, the sentence or the statement is affirmative, so the tag must be negative. As I said, we must use pronoun in the form of tag, no noun. No one could solve a problem. Can one of you guess the correct tag of this statement? Very good. No one. We need pronoun. So, no one requires they. So, no one, it is a negative statement. So, we need affirmative tag. Here we go. Could they? Roshan has gone to school. When there is apostrophe s with past participle form of the verb. When there is apostrophe s with past participle form of the verb, there must be what? Has. And Roshan is a male, so Roshan refers to he. So we have hasn't he. M, you need not stay out long. You might guess there is an auxiliary, need. So the statement is affirmative, so the tag must be negative. So what is your guess? Excellent. Need you is the right answer. And we apostrophe D prefer copy. We would prefer copy apostrophe D with the root form of verb. Look at here. Here is apostrophe D apostrophe D with prefer is what? Root form of verb. When apostrophe D comes with root form of verb, there must be what? Would. And the statement is affirmative, then tag must be negative. So, what is the answer? Can you guess now? Excellent. The answer is wouldn't we. Dear student, we have practiced some questions related to question tag. Now, on the basis of these questions, can we generalize the rules? And this is what the golden rules for question tag. Here we go. First rule, dear student, you must remember, when there is an affirmative statement, there is negative tag. We discussed already. When there is a negative statement and we use affirmative tag. Similarly, always use contracted form of the verb. Never use full form of the verb. As when there is not, we must use isn't. When there is must not, we must use mustn't. When there is cannot, we use contracted form. Contracted means short form of the verb. Can't. When there is shall not, shan't. When there is will not, won't. There are many other contracted form of the verbs. So never use full form of the verb. You cannot use cannot. So that question tag, the definition itself says short form of question. They come at the end of the sentence for the clarification. Isn't it? Very good. So never use full form of the verb. Use contracted form of the verbs in the form of tag. So we do not use full form of the verb in the form of tag. We must use the contracted form of the verbs in the form of tag. Similarly, use always pronouns, never a noun. We do not use the form of noun. We always and we must use the form of pronouns in the tag. Next rule that we need to consider while changing a statement into the correct form of tag, words such as adverbs, pronouns, adjectives of negation as. See, it means sometimes we do not think that the given word is negative, but we have some words and their meaning is negative. So here are some of the words, here are some of the adjectives, here are some of the pronouns, here are some of the adverbs. If they appear in a statement and they are known as a negative word. So if they are used in the statement, so our tag must be affirmative. What are those words? When we see no in a sentence, not in a sentence, never in a sentence, seldom, hardly, rarely, barely, scarcely, nobody, no one, neither of, plural nouns or pronouns. There are many others as well. So if they are used in the statement is known as a negative word. So our tag must be affirmative. Did you understand? Good. Next, the statement that begins with late with apostrophe s has always an affirmative tag, that is shall we, as we discussed already. Similarly, when a sentence that begins with imperative or verb, imperative sentence has always an affirmative tag with will you. As we said, open the door, will you? Close the door, will you? Don't open the door, will you? Okay. Similarly, when a sentence that comes with apostrophe D with root form of verb or rather, would, and apostrophe D with past participle and beta, there must be had. We have discussed this rule in the sentences already. When a sentence that comes with apostrophe D with root form of verb and there is rather, would in the form of tag, and when a statement that begins with apostrophe D with past participle form of the verb and again there is beta, that must be had in the form of tag. Another rule is when there is apostrophe S with ing form of the verb, there must be is in the form of tag, and when there is apostrophe S with past participle form of the verb, there must be has in the form of the tag. Did you understand, student? So these are what the general but very, very important rules in question tag. Dear student, now let us talk about how pronouns of some of the subjects are changed in the form of tag. Are you ready to learn about another golden rules? Very good. How pronouns are changed? See, look at this table. When we have the words as a subject, for example, this, that as a subject, it changes into it in the form of tag. Similarly, when we have these and those as a subject of a statement, it changes into that in the form of tag. Similarly, something, anything, nothing and everything, they change into it in the form of tag. Somebody, everybody, nobody, no one and everyone, they change into they as a pronoun in the form of tag. Anybody, anyone, some and people, it also changes with they in the form of tag. When there is plural nouns, sometimes we see the plural nouns as a subject. For example, cows or dogs, and it changes into they as a pronoun in the form of tag. Similarly, sometimes noun, Ram, Hari, Gita, they change with he and she in the form of tag. Sometimes we see the dog, a cow, it changes into it as a pronoun in the form of tag. Similarly, all plus singular verb, it changes it into it as a pronoun in the form of tag. For example, all is right, all is well, isn't it? Similarly, all plus plural verb, it changes into they as a pronoun in the form of tag. All are well, aren't they? All is well, all with singular verb, it, and all with plural verb, they. So all is well, isn't it? All are well, aren't they? Okay, did you understand? So this is what the patterns of changing the pronouns, nouns and pronouns, or the words into pronouns. What do we say? Never use nouns in the form of tag. We have to use pronouns always in the form of tag. So this is what the another very, very important rules and ideas, how the subjects are changed into pronouns in the form of tag. Did you understand? Now some more examples. Let us talk about some more examples. Let's not sit here. What is the correct form of tag? Good. You're right. Shall we? Why? The sentence begin with late and there is apostrophe s and the sentence itself is negative. So what do we say? Late with apostrophe s, there is always shall we. Have a cup of coffee. The sentence begins with what? Verb. If a sentence begins with verb and the tag of the statement is always will you. Good. Let me write. Again, the sentence begins with verb. Late is a verb. So when the sentence begins with verb, so what is our rule? Will you always? Good. Don't waste your time. Again the sentence begins with verb. Will you is the correct form of tag. Neither of the students had lunch. Neither, negative word. And the students. Okay. So can you guess the right answer? Right form of the tag? Yes. Did they? Why did they? Had is used as a main verb in the sentence, so that we changes had into did. So the students, it refers to they, the pronouns they. So neither is a negative word, so that our tag must be affirmative. You apostrophe D better tell your friend. What is our rule? What we learned just before? Apostrophe D with beta. Can you guess? Excellent. You're right. Hadn't you? You would rather watch it. Apostrophe D with rather. Can one of you guess? We have just discussed this concept. Yes, wouldn't you? Right. Some of the sugar is. Some of the sugar. There is an auxiliary, isn't it? Some of the sugar, that it refers to it as a pronoun in the form of tag. There is a crow. So when the sentence comes with there, so the same word we can use. Isn't there? Okay. One should not speak lie. When the sentence begins with one, there, the same word we can use in the form of tag. So the statement itself is negative. So our tag must be affirmative. Should one. She seldom does homework. We learn about when the sentence comes with negative word. For example, seldom. Seldom is a negative word. So our tag must be affirmative. Does she? He is writing a book. When there is apostrophe s with ing form of the verb, there must be is. Isn't he? Is used. Apostrophe s with past participle form of the verb, has. So hasn't he? Apostrophe d with past participle form of the verb, they, apostrophe d, gone. Hadn't they? You'd like tea. Apostrophe D with V1 form of the verb, there must be would. Wouldn't you? Did you understand? We learned the rules. We practiced a lot related to statement and then the correct form of tag. I believe you learned more. Now, dear students, let us go to learn something about how to write a news story. It is a writing part. Are you all ready with a pen to write some news? Have you ever seen and have you ever read the news from the newspaper, English newspaper? For example, the Kathmandu Post, the Republica, the Rising Nepal. So if you don't the habit of reading the English news, so I request you all, please go through reading the news story and then learn some ideas. How can we write the news story? Are you all ready to learn something about the ways of writing news story? Get ready. Write a news story using the outline given below. Here is an outline. Nepali Army NA collects 800 kg of garbage from Mount Amadablam. Mount Amadablam Cleanup Campaign 2075, organized by Sagarmatha Pollution Control Committee, that is SPCC, is short. The Samser Gulma, a company of Nepal Army, participates financial assistance from Khumbu village body. 800 kg of garbage collected, handed over to the local community amid the program. SPCC chair Mr. Sherpa expresses his gratitude to NA. This is what the clues to develop a news story. Can you develop a news story? Try it. Now, how to write a news story? Dear student, I am giving you the clues. How can we develop a news story? General concept of writing news story. See, when we write the news story, sometimes in past tense, sometimes in present tense. When we write the news story when the issues are related to accident or event or plane crash or finished program or so on and so on. Generally we write the news story in past tense. But we develop a news story when the event is related to places, lakes, mountains, rivers, women, education. So, generally we use present tense form of the verb in the news story. Now, what are the parts of news story? Headline. We must write the headlines of the news. That is title of the news reports. Okay. It has some format of writing the title, students. First letter of each word should be written capital, except preposition and article. Okay. So, when we decide to write the title of the news, so every first letter of each word must be written in capital alphabets except preposition and article. Similarly, byline. Who wrote the news article? Source. We must write the source in the news story. Otherwise, our news writing won't be authentic. So, write the source. Who wrote the news article? We will see later. For example, by our staff reporter, okay, by somebody else. This is what? Byline. The source by Zairana. Dear student, in the deadline, we must write where and when the news is written, or place and date. That must be written. For example, Kathmandu, March 12. Kathmandu is a place, and then March 12 is a date. Lead paragraph. This is another important issue we must not forget about while writing the news. Expansion of the headline in one or two sentences, usually answering the following 5 WH questions. What are those 5 WH questions? In the leading paragraph, who? We must answer who questions in our leading paragraph. What? Answer of what questions in the leading paragraph. Answer of where question in the leading paragraph. When question and why and how. And body paragraph, details of the events in a proper order. 2 or 3 paragraphs. You can use indirect speech or passive voice in the body paragraph, and then final you can give a box to hold the news story. And you can write a news story using and understanding and focusing those points. Can you write now? Are you ready to write now? Good. Now, here is an example. NA collects 800 kilogram garbage from Mount Amadablam. Title of the news. Okay. And by a staff reporter, what is this? Byline. Dateline. Solukhumbu, March 1st. March 1. On the basis of the above clues, we develop the news story in this way. In a bid to keep the beautiful mountain ranges of Nepal clean, the Nepal Army NA recently undertook a cleanup campaign on Mount Amadablam. The campaign was organized by Sagarmatha Pollution Control SPCC in partnership with the Samser Gulma, a company of the Nepal Army. The event was financially supported by the Khumbu village body. The efforts of the Nepal Army and their partners were not in vain, as they collected an impressive 800 kilograms of garbage from the mountain. The cleanup campaign, which was part of the Mount Ahmadabalam Cleanup Campaign 2075, saw a team of volunteers working tirelessly to remove the waste that had accumulated on the mountain. The program was held amid much fanfare, with representatives from the local community, government official, and environmental activities in attendance. After the collection was complete, the garbage was handed over to the local community as a token of appreciation. Mr. Sherpa, the chairperson of SPCC, expressed his gratitude to the Nepal Army for the efforts in helping to keep the environment clean. He also thanked the Khumbu village body for their financial assistance, which is said had been crucial in making the event success. The cleanup campaigns is part of a wider effort the mountain ranges of Nepal clean and free from pollution. The event has been hailed as a success, and it is hoped that it will inspire more people to take action to preserve the natural beauty of Nepal's mountains for generations to come. This is what the way of writing the news story. Now, dear student, this is what the title of the news: candidacies field for 3 parliamentary seats. And here we have byline. And in byline, Himalayan News Service. And then here we have dateline, Kathmandu, April 3rd. And this is what the news in detail. Similarly, NOC slashes fuel prices. This is what the title of the news. Here we have the byline, and it is written from Kathmandu, April 3. Experts discuss Lumbini's development. This is what the title of the news. Here we have the byline, and it is written from Lumbini, April again 3. And here is a detail of the news. In this way, you can write many news story. You can develop as many news story as you can. Can you write, student? Good. So, I believe you have well understood today's lesson. And then I would like to request you develop a news story on the basis of the clues given in your textbook. This is your what? The homework. Until then, see you in the next class. Bye-bye and have a good day.